man, this is so cool. The X-Men.
Now that you mention it.
Shit, man, you are a god!
Hey everybody, this is Perch. Joe, you're doing fine, right?
Yeah, sure. How are you?
This is why you don't record 3 videos at once.
Oh,
I took the wind out of your sails with that last one, unfortunately.
that I've always hated the point one issues. It's always to me been like the publisher, in this case Marvel, it's like, hey, here's a comic. Here's a comic that's 1/10 as important of a regular comic that you have to pay full price for that is less important than a regular comic.
Now, what if they don't do point one, but they do like point LH or, point letters? How do you feel about that?
I don't know. You know, Perch. I feel like if you have a number, hypothetically, I'm going to say 3 here. If you want to go to the next number, it's baked into the system. It's 4. It's fucking 4. That's it. And then after that, it's 5. And you just keep going.
You just keep counting?
Yeah. You can just keep counting. There was that Eastern European guy on Sesame Street that had it all figured out.
Yeah, that's damn the Romani. Peter David was right. Anyway, he's doing better, by the way, which is good news.
That's good. That was good.
Well, I was looking at other things to torture you, and I think there's plenty of options here. Like, hey, here's Spider Gwen Rhino. How about this?
What are we fucking doing?
There you go.
What?
That's what we're doing. I also was wondering, what you thought of the news that we'll hear. We'll see. We'll get your reaction to this. So, Jeff the Land Shark gets a print one shot by popular demand.
Popular demand?
That's. But, if we're going to talk about something that's going on in comics, we're talking about the X-Men. All right. So what is this, year 3 of the Krakoa era?
Oh God, is it 2023 is going to be 4 years since it started. Like we're at like the 3.5 year point.
Well, and with COVID, it's been 30 years.
Oh yeah, no, it's certainly felt that. Because Hoxpox, what was it? The summer of 2019.
Yeah,
we were so young then.
Yeah, remember how I got Brian Edward Hill on for an interview, and I was so happy, and he was happy, and he was excited about his book and working with the X-Men team. You had like what 1.5K subs at that point, if that.
Yeah, it was pretty small.
I only did one video a day. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Edward Hill was also like writing comics because, I know he still does a bit, but it seems like he is focused more on, TV and other things that pay. Yeah,
well, that's fair. I mean, in fairness, whenever they want to do a Wakanda one shot, they do reach out to Brian Edward Hill, so it's nice he's getting that work.
That's good. That's good that they're doing that.
And well, I was going to reminisce more about that, but that was 2019. So here we are, as you said, 3.5 years later, almost 3.5 years later.
Yeah.
The Krakoa era. Where's it going, Joe?
It's still going. There's so
Man,
Mars is
that needs to be the tagline for the next omnibus, by the way.
But it's so they're on Mars still, kind of, but they're dead. But most of them, but there's some on Mars, and then there's still bickering around a council.
Yeah.
And then Destiny keeps talking about things that are going to happen because that's what anyone off the street you pull into write Destiny writes her. It's just like, I know. Just shut up. I hate it.
I know.
And then can you believe Mystique is looking out for her best interests? And,
I didn't see that coming. No.
And then Magneto's going to come back anyway, right? Because nothing matters.
Sure.
And then we're going to get an Age of Apocalypse with Mr. Sinister because they were somehow betrayed by a man who calls himself Mr. Sinister.
It's hard to believe they didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's okay to like not invite people places, right?
Yeah,
like you can just not invite them.
Well, I mean, as they're going over their guest list, and they're like, "Well, we got Lady Deathstrike and Sabretooth and Mr. Sinister. Let's give Mr. Sinister his own palace up here, and then kind of leave him alone and put him on the leadership council."
Yeah, I feel like they could have been like, you could have just not invited the supervillains on your leadership council instead of having these weird BS nonsensical arguments of, well, we need Apocalypse. It's like, do we?
Yeah.
We've got Magneto, Professor X, Jean, Cyclops, Wolverine. We can never die. Like, I think we're okay.
It's what's sad, and it's so sad, is that I remember talking to you during that period. We were reading Hawksbox, and there was genuine excitement.
Yeah.
I remember when it all ended, it felt a little weird that they were just gonna leave it there. They're just on the they're on the island, they're gonna have a party, and then we're gonna get 6 new comics. But there was generally like, wow, this is cool. They did something cool. And now in hindsight, I was reading Hawksbox the other day. And I find myself pissed off reading that book, not just because of the promise. So creators who are listening right now, I'm explaining to you why I'm pissed off. I'm sorry. I'm going to do that for years.
There you go.
If we ever in the million years again do a live stream, that's the first question I'm asking Pat Shand. But
please
do you know why people are pissed off?
Oh, and I mean, Pat will just be like, dude, and then like go into it.
Yeah, he'll tell you exactly why.
Oh, yeah.
But I just reading these books, I find that this stuff is super nonsensical in hindsight. All of this. And the one you mentioned is the most like Professor X, like, we need to reach arms out to all our mutant brethren and turn a page. And that's why we've got Mr. Sinister here. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
why did they need to be represented why did they need to be represented on leadership? What value was the villain going to do? Why do you have Shaw up there? What the fuck does Shaw even do? He's a piece of shit.
They don't bring anything to the table. They're not like, it's one thing if you're bringing like Dr. Doom because he's the head of Latveria, and it's like, oh well, we need their resources, or something. Like, oh, we're getting like T'Challa because we need the resources of Wakanda. We need Namor because Namor makes sense because
Namor,
it's like, oh, he's
sense. Yeah,
for diplomatic reasons. But then it's just like we need every genocidal maniac who has DNA similar to ours to be on this council with us, for fun.
We're going to decide the fate of the mutant kingdom now that we are immortal and can travel anywhere in the entire galaxy using our plant portals. We are infinitely rich beyond all of our measures. Like, why are they fucking around selling medicine to the humans? They can go to other planets and invent gold. Like, what is going on?
They could bring Krakoa to another planet.
Sure, fuck it.
But are they even? They're not really. I feel like the pharmaceutical stuff got really pushed to the back burner, and it feels like whenever it's mentioned now, it's just to like kind of remind you that that was a plot point, and it seems like it's not important anymore.
No, I agree. They do. It has been downplayed quite a bit. I have to imagine that they didn't want to get wrapped up in the controversy of why Pfizer and Moderna beat them to the COVID vaccine.
Oh yeah, no, by a long shot.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. You're getting beat by the boner drug company. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But so you're sitting there and you're like, I've got to create this this leadership council represent the mutants. I know. Let's get Exodus in here. What? And then in issues, they're listening to him. It's like, well, Exodus thinks we should put hope on the council. Like, what? This guy who nobody gives a shit about wants the teenage girl on the council. Like, what even is in? Are you still reading any of these books?
I was reading. I'm a little behind, but I was keeping up for a bit on Immortal X-Men and X-Men Red.
That's the fanciest code for no I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I'm probably 2 months, maybe 3 behind, because like it's a lot. It's
Are you reading Exterminators? Because that one has Boom Boom's tits exploding.
I read the first issue.
Okay.
I tried.
Well, sadly, that was issue 2 where that happened. I also think they said she has a juicy dumper.
I was never one that was a fan for referring to someone's backside as being juicy.
But you're okay with dumper?
It's dumper's not great either.
No, that's fair.
But there are terrible implications to both.
That is very true.
That don't really make that situation enticing.
It's worse when you put them together, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. It's like some sort of anti-chocolate peanut butter situation.
I just keep thinking of O.J. Simpson and that whole the juice is loose, and it doesn't help.
No.
What about Marauders? You reading that?
I think I read the first issue.
Okay. Cassandra Nova's on the team right now because they did prioritize, rebirthing Cassandra Nova.
Well, I mean, it's important. There weren't enough genocidal maniacs to bring back. Because what I would do is I'd be like, you know what? If we're really going to show kindness, let's bring the person back who wiped out. Didn't she wipe out like 13 million mutants on 9/11? Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So got to invite her. It'd be awkward to someone if they didn't.
Well, we have to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. That title is one of the more baffling ones I think Marvel is producing right now. But no offense to everybody involved, but of
course not.
Dare you to read that issue?
Yeah, no, I've known Steve for a long time. I like him a lot, and especially like Midnighter Apollo.
There you go. You have to go to those titles. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Where do you? So I go back to where do you think it's going? So 3.5 years in, where do you think it's going, and how many more years of this are we going to receive?
I feel like we're going in a direction like if I had to make a guess, that they are going to slowly start drifting apart. Like one thing I saw, they're doing that like Rogan Gambit book.
Right.
And on one of the covers, because, there's like a billion covers and they're all dressed different, so it's impossible to actually know what's going on in the comics. But one of the covers I saw, it was like the 90s versions of that. Like, I feel like they're going to slowly start like disseminating all of this and getting X-Men doing other things outside Krakoa and like kind of slowly remove us from that, and then maybe they'll do like an event to kind of put a bow on it and then act like it never happened.
Okay. Yeah. I think that makes sense. I think that timeline probably lines up with when Disney decides to make an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
So you got 2 more years of this, you think?
I hope it's less. I hope it's no more than a year and a half.
Has it gone longer than you expected?
I don't know if it's gone longer than I've expected. It's gone longer than I'd like.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just want like something else to happen, and like it could still be Krakoa. Like some of these other things could be happening, like whatever. But like, I want the X-Men to be like, and they were trying to like make everyone happy. I think with the main X book for a bit when like Duggan was doing it, where it was like, oh, the Krakoa Era is still going on, but see, we brought the superhero team and we put them back in New York to appease and it didn't work. I don't think. And that's not the fault of the creative team or anything like that, but it's just like, no, you need to just end this and move on. And look, and I think we both agree here. It's like, that's fine. Like because they'll probably do movies and shows again shortly, they'll probably figure out a way to like put him back in the mansion or like whatever like that. But like, I'm fine if they don't go back to living in a mansion in Westchester. Like, I just want them to move on to the next
whatever.
Yeah, whatever the next thing is. I just want to be there now, you know.
So you're not saying that you want them to take it back to Professor X in a yellow floating wheelchair and that kind of stuff. You just want to see, and Jubilee being the centerpiece of the team. You're okay with anything else?
That might come back to bite me in the ass, but yeah, I think so.
That is a monkey's paw kind of comment. Well, what would you do if I told you they're canceling? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that thing again. Well, Joe, I longtime X-Men fans, we're suffering through it, but I do. Yeah. It is hard to really imagine where this one goes at this point. The part I'll leave you with, and I know you're in a lot of shops, and so am I. I talk to lots of different people.
Yeah.
The thing that strikes me the most about the X-Men right now is that there is zero buzz about any book in that line, including even this Sins of Sinister event. It is probably one of the least talked about X-Men events that I can remember in my lifetime. Are you hearing any buzz for any of these books?
No. Going back to, I think, something from the video we recorded before this, the most I got with anything X-Men related was just utter disdain at the idea of Dark Web and not a mention of Sins of Sinister. It's like, look, I get it. Alliteration, sure. But
we're down to fancy grammar is what we're down to.
Yeah, but it's just like, what are we? We've been getting teased since Hoxpox that Sinister's up to no good.
Yeah,
and this might talk about some of that.
Yeah,
but it's also like an alternate timelines. Because we need that now, because it's too streamlined.
Do you remember the big threat that was identified in Hoxpox that the X-Men would be facing?
They had a few, right? I mean, you had like the Nimrod Oculus stuff. You had, the grannies were after Hoxpox.
Yeah, that was definitely after. No, it was the threat of the technology ruling everything.
Yeah,
feels like that's not really in play anymore.
Well, how can you say that after they just rolled out AI art?
Thank you for taking us back to the beginning, Joe.
No problem.
All right, well, we'll chat again real soon, and there you go. Keep reading X-Men, I guess.
Sure.